Okay, I'm back. I just ran out of storage memory, so I had to delete some stuff, and so I can finish this video. So that said, I should probably keep it short. And I was actually starting to kind of crack on a legendary movie that some of y'all might be super fans of, and that's okay. I'm not. But moving on. So yeah, came up 75 today. Heading towards the Sawtooth. Went through a little town called Bellevue, and I met a rather interesting guy. He actually had kind of chased me down. I'd already went through town once, and then I think I went back to the GoPro, but then also I'd seen a post office. I think maybe when he caught me, I was going back for the post office. But that said, yeah, he pulled over to the side of the road when I was in this parking lot, and I was about to go past him as he's getting out of his car, and he kind of yells at me and stops me, and he comes up to me all kind of excited like, and tells me that. Tells me that he had a Himalayan and that he recently sold it, and he was all excited about mine. So that's what it was all about. He was calling him a thumper, the fact that I was riding a thumper, and again, the fact that he had one and sold it recently. But his name's Jim. Oh man, I was going to say Herman. Going a blank on the last name, but I've got his card over there so we can keep in touch. But anyhow, Jim, great guy, 70-some years old. He's lived off and on in this, and he said in the Idaho Valley for like 30 years. But in the same token, he's lived out of country. He, up until, sounds like pretty recently, he was living in Taiwan. And again, that's where he had and sold his Himalayan. And sounded like he had ridden extensively there in Taiwan. And I'm trying to think. He said he traveled into Vietnam. He did not ride the motorcycle in Vietnam, I don't think, but he did. He's traveled in Vietnam. I think he said he rode another, like a much smaller bike or a scooter up to the Chinese border or something like that. It sounded like he's lived again over there, maybe like here, maybe off and on for years. Or then again, maybe he's been there for a long time and he's just now coming back to the States. I think he said he's been back since this past November. And he said something about the border being closed because of COVID. But yeah, just neat guy, and just real hardcore about the Royal Enfields. And it was great meeting you there, Jim. Good talking to you. He also, he YouTubes his adventures, and so I'll be checking his out, and he'll be checking mine out. And again, definitely, God willing, want to keep in touch with him. He's even hoping to get away again this October and ride down in South America, which would be, pretty amazing trip, of course. So yeah. So Jim, and again, then, after that, I did ride up into the along the Sawtooth Range today, north there on 75, most of it, and then eventually got up to a little town called Stanley that claimed to be the gateway to the Sawtooth, and I hung a left on Route 21 heading towards Boise, and 21 again is what I'm camped off of here tonight. Just beautiful ride today, beautiful and blistering cold. Again, not wearing this for a fashion statement. I slept in it last night. It was cold there at Craters of the Moon, and it has been cold all day. I'm wearing, as I'd mentioned earlier, I think I'm wearing most of my warm weather gear, not quite all of it, but wearing most of it today. And I should have stopped and put more on because I've got it instead of just being cold, but that would have been, I guess, too easy, right? So I just kind of suffered through it, which is maybe, something a guy does instead of stopping and asking for directions, just try to get it done. But I did, and I was fine. I was cold, but I was fine. And just blessed to be here tonight at this absolutely amazing campsite. I could not picture a more beautiful campsite. You know, again, God has just blessed me with campsite after campsite after campsite that has just been oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know the word. Just it's, you know, say great or they've all been fabulous. How's that? I've had many a fabulous campsite on this trip. Certainly blessed. Couple other things. I rode just over 193 miles today. I did yesterday. I never mentioned my miles. Yesterday was only 108.5, which that was just fine. That was cool. Left Idaho Falls late, and you know, again stopped there at Craters of the Moon and got to explore that. And so yeah, it was a nice, as far as the ride goes, nice short day. And two, it was the wind yesterday was absolutely horrendous. Maybe the worst wind I've been in yet. And you know, I've been in some pretty bad wind down there in Texas and well, other places. I've had a lot of wind this trip. And I think a big part of it is heading west. The winds often seem like it's coming out of the southwest, and so I'm kind of like riding into it, kind of a, you know, crossways into it. But so it has not been at my back, not yet. But anyhow, yeah, yesterday just you know, high winds, very, very high, powerful winds, and then today not wind, but just blistering cold. And I say blistering cold, I mean, if you're just hanging out and stuff, walking around, it's not that bad. I mean, it's probably like low 50s. But again, being on the bike, being in the mountains, and the snow, there was up in these elevations today, there's been a lot of old, dirty snow, a lot of old snowpack, which of course really radiates the cold. And but thankfully I'm down lower now. Once I hung that left there at Stanley and started heading this way, the weather started, you know, it just started getting better and warmer, of course, and it's been nice. But yeah, just a good part of the day. Once I got up into the Sawtooth, snow, you know, just a lot of blowings, decent amount of blowing snow. Never anything like really heavy, but so I don't know if I'd say a decent amount of snow, but just in general, just snow in the mountains, just where it's just kind of blowing and you know, not accumulating or anything like that, but too, and it looked like clouds. You know, it looked like you know, just like clouds coming through the valleys and all. But again, it was actually snow, and I guess coming, you know, clouds coming over the mountain and stuff. That was actually snow. So yeah, it was cold up there, and it's cold, you know, again, for me to still be dressed like this right now. It's cold down here for that matter, but not as cold as it was up there. Or again, just being off the bike. Been off the bike now for a few hours. I stopped early when I found this site. I had planned on going further, but when I pulled over to check it out and I walked up on this view, I couldn't ride on. It just wouldn't have been right, you know. So and two, what a blessing that somebody you know, a little bit of wood over there, and took me a while to get the fire going, but I did. You know, the wood's damp, it's been setting out, but still though, like I said, what a blessing that somebody's left it and I've got to utilize it and have my first campfire of the whole entire trip, which speaking of, today is at 12 noon 5 weeks ago today, which is just kind of hard to believe. A couple other things I want to mention. For this is more for me. I like to record. I guess some of the details, some of the facts, maybe less interesting facts, but it's something I'm just keeping track of. Which I do write it down, but I'll also say it. I've said it every other time I've been on the interstate. But a few days ago, when I was leaving Green River, Idaho, I got on the interstate for 14 miles. Got on Interstate 80 combined with State Route 30 and rode like I said, for like 14 miles until 30 split off. And then I was on 30 for like a day or two. Or I don't know about a day or two, for a while, day and a half, or yeah, something like that. So 30, and then a couple days ago, heading up to Idaho Falls. I don't remember what road I was on for a good part of the day then. I was about to say, actually, that might have been 30 as well. It very well could have been, but either way, I ended up getting on Interstate 15, again, heading up towards Idaho Falls for like 19 miles. So that puts me up close to, I think, about 200 miles now on the interstate, somewhere in there. And out of like close to 7,000 miles that I've been blessed to ride so far in this whole entire adventure. But I am trying to stay off of it as best I can. Again, there's just times it seem like it's hard to avoid, you know, without really, you know, going long ways out of the way, or really, you know, just trying to figure it out, which I don't think it's really, it's worth messing with. I was kind of hung up on that at first, that I wasn't going to do it. And even when I had stayed with Uncle C-Swum family, you know, back in Florida, he had even made a comment the second evening I was there. He said, "You're just going to have to ride the interstate." And I said, you know, so I'm not going to do it. But well, he was right and I was wrong, because I had not been on the interstate at all then, but I've been on it now a few times, and it as needed, it sure it works well. So I'm glad it's there. Trying to think if there was anything else. I mean, I could just talk about how great Idaho's been, how much I love Idaho. There's no need. I've said all that a couple or a few times now. Again, for the sake of the memory on this phone, I should probably call it. Let y'all see the river. I'm here, a better view of it without my big head in the way. We'll just start down here. I think this is the South Fork of the Payette, or the Payette, however you say it. I was looking at the map a little bit ago, and it's best I can tell, I think, like I said, maybe that's what this is, but it is got quite the flow in it. Also, earlier today, I crossed the Salmon River, which that's a legendary river that I'm definitely heard of. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I've just heard of it before. I was on the other side of the range. All right, God bless y'all, and good night. Thanks for watching.